Okay, the beam system. All right, I'm on my top of foundation structural plan. That's where I'm doing this thing at. And let's see, you don't have to have your underlay turned on to do this. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be working off of these 2x10s and our beams that we laid. So we're going to go beam system, beam type. We want to choose a 2x10. Justification will be direction line. Layout rule will be fixed distance with a spacing of 1 foot 4 inches, which is the 16-inch on center spacing for our floor joist. Okay. We're working on top of foundation wall, and we want to give it an elevation of 10 3/4 inches. This is the thickness of our sill plate, 1.5 inch, and then the thickness of our floor joist, which is 9 1/4 inches. Okay, so we're going to get all those things set up. Now we want to do a sketch beam system. All right, now the first line you put in is your beam direction line, typically. And we can go with pick lines. And I want to start all my beam systems from over here on this side. But when you highlight a line, you want to make sure it picks up that where it says structural framing dimensional 2x10. That's what you want to click on and then lock it. It doesn't matter what direction you go. You just want to pick 2x10, 2x10. And then here, we want to pick the center of the beam, although we're going to have to modify things, as you'll see. Okay, now once you get done, we'll go with some trimming. Uh, Sometimes I've run into some of these in that they won't trim because they've been locked in place. So you'll just have to grab the end of it and drag it and join them up. Okay. All right. Now you see this little double bar right here? That is your baseline, basically. It highlights your beam direction. If it's on any other line across here besides on this east side of the building, you want to click on beam direction here and then click that line and change it back. All right, so you get that done, make sure all your settings are right, and then you click the checkbox. All right, now I have not found where I can turn off tagging because it automatically tags these things. So when that happens, just select it, select all instances and delete them because we're not going to do beam tags in this project. Now, here's the problem in that it's not extending it all the way because it thinks it's going to be anchored on the wall and it thinks it's going to be anchored on the edge of the beam here. It might be easier. I don't know. You can adjust them now after each area that you do, or you could do all of your areas and then come back and adjust them as it's going across. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. Okay, so the whole thing with starting with my baseline over here, if I pull a dimension from the outside edge of my wall system or my 2x10, the end header, which is the exterior core of my wall, to the center of that floor joist, that gives me 16 inches. And then I go another 16 inches, and I go another 16 inches. That is 4 feet, half of a sheet of plywood. Okay, and if I keep going, then the end of an 8-foot sheet of plywood will be centered on a joist. So if you were to measure actual face to face, that's 1 foot 1 3/4, 1 foot 2.5. So the space between these two is actually 3/4 of an inch less than the others, so that the edge of the plywood is on the edge of the header. And then when you get to the end of a sheet of plywood, it's on the center of a joist. Okay, so that's why our spacing works the way it does. Now to adjust these, you can't right click and select all because it'll select every 2 by 10 in your project. But you can select a bunch of them. You can hold down your control key to get them. I need to measure first though and see. So from the end of this up to there is 3 inches. Okay. So let's go ahead and select all of those. And we want to come over here, start join cutback. I think it's a start join. So we're going to go minus 3 inches. What happened to it? Minus 3. Oh, well, that was the other end. Okay. But 3 inches is not what I wanted there. Okay, it picked up something else too. So let's go with structural framing joist. End join cutback. Minus 3 inches. And apply that. And that fixed that end up there. Now down below here, I want that to come down. Two and 3/4 inches. So if I'd have measured these both before, I could have done it all in one operation. Okay, and so that we'll change that to minus 2.75. As well said, right? Yeah, okay, so that looks good there. And you can say I've already got this one done. And so now what we'll do is we'll do this run down here. Now you'll have to pick, you know, the 2 by 10 here and then come down and go down the center of the beam and you'll have to adjust them that way. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to do those things and come back. One thing, when you're doing it here, you'll have an opening in the floor system right there. So I'm going to pause and I'll do everything, and when I come back to here, I'll start another video up. All right, I have got all the joists in except for this one bay here. And I just, as I was sketching my lines down, I just noticed that I'm gonna have to edit my offset on these down here in the bottom, but I can go back in and edit those things. I did have to figure out how to turn off tags right here. Once you go into sketch mode, in your properties over here, you can choose tags, none. Okay, and that should fix it. All right, so what I did is I sketched the perimeter of that, and then I sketched a hole in the middle and aligned it to the inside surfaces of everything. So now let's see if that works. Woohoo! What do you know about that? Ain't that pretty? Okay, now just have to adjust the ends on all of these so that they should be meeting in the center of the beams. Okay, some of them may have done it already, say like those did it already, but some I'll have to adjust. Here, since we've got a duplicate right here, we're going to leave it for right now until we figure out how our stair is going to operate. And we may delete one of these and move it over and join it together. We'll just have to wait and see how our stair opening is going to work out. Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, if you need to edit your boundary, you need to go to your 3D view and then hover over the floor system so it highlights the whole beam system. And then you click it and you can go edit boundary. That's the easiest way to get into editing boundary. Okay, now then, once that is done, let's go, once you got all your joists and everything, situated and lined up, let's go to floor plan, first floor. And we are going to put in a plywood subfloor. That will be the whole shooting match, okay? And so we're going to have to create a floor system. So we will go floor, and let's go down to one that actually has some plywood in it. Like this one has plywood in it. So let's pull that one in and edit it and duplicate it. Plywood 3/4 inch. Okay, let's go to our structure, and that will delete. That will delete, and we'll leave it at 3/4 inch. I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? Okay. And now we can pick walls because we're gonna extend into the core, and so we can pick walls. And we're gonna offset it. Dang, I can't remember if we need to give it a negative offset or not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. And it should be lining up with the outside edge of the sheathing or the inside of the airspace. Okay. And so basically, pick your way around the building, not including the garage. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's just going to be what it's going to be. Okay, so that connected there. Just make sure that that connected down here and lined up. Yeah. All right. Well, that's just one of those weird little things. Okay, so let's go. Okay. Lines cannot intersect. Lines currently intersect. Okay. That's kind of weird. Huh. Because that's the wrong line. So let's go pick line. Oh, it's not even picking line there. Because this is our weird wall here with the CMU and stuff. So we'll have to draw a wall. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, we can say yeah. It's already, well, no, it's not already. Well, yeah, we'll say yeah and then see how it looks. All right, so let's see how it looks in this section view. So there's my plywood and there's my floor joist system. And here's my fake floor that I had put in earlier. So check a number of sections around and see how that looks. Make sure your plywood goes all the way out to the wall, and you got a floor joist in there sitting on top of sill plates. And then that, man, that should be work. Next video will be on doing the second floor system. And then once you got that in, you can hide all of and just about we don't want to delete that fake floor system, but we do want to hide it in every view that it will be visible in when we start working with our detailed drawings. Okie doke, sounds great. If you got questions, shoot me an email.